remember that every line, like every sentence on your page, should be compelling enough to lead someone to that next sentence. Welcome to Seven Figure Copy, the show where I teach you how to create powerful strategic messaging so you can attract high-paying clients and scale your business to the next level with ease. I'm Gina Whitehouse, your expert conversion copywriter, and this podcast is for ambitious, value-driven female entrepreneurs like you who are ready to scale from 6 to 7 figures without sacrificing what matters most: your values, your time, and your family. In each episode, we'll dive into the art of crafting persuasive words for high-converting websites and sales pages, and you'll learn strategic copy techniques so you attract premium clients and boost your revenue. This podcast was created to help you tackle the challenges of balancing family life and business growth as you take your business to the next level. If you're ready to add a trusted partner to your team, making sure your message is compelling, consistent, and impactful, then you're in the right place. Hey everybody, I'm so excited you are here today. My name is Gina Whitehouse. I am the host of the Seven Figure Copy Podcast, and today we are doing a live copy audit with Shannon Boyer. Now, Shannon, she is an award-winning educator and online course creator, and we are going to look today at her About page, and I'm going to point out some things that she can add, that she can tweak and change so that she can get better conversions happening from her About page. And I want people to land on that page, and I want them to see her and what she does. I want them to be able to relate to her, but also see the expert that she is and how she can help them. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to dive into it. Thank you so much for joining me. Hi, Shannon. I am so excited you are here today. Why don't you start by telling me a little bit about your business? Who do you serve and what service do you offer?
Hi, Gina. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so excited to be able to talk to you. So my name is Shannon Boyer. My business is Shannon L. Boyer, and I'm an award-winning educator with more than 20 years of experience in curriculum and course design. And I serve purpose-driven entrepreneurs who are looking to expand their businesses through high-quality online courses. And they want to showcase their expertise in a way that they can feel proud of and in a way that gets their students results. And so the services that I offer is I do have a course that teaches people how to create high quality signature online courses from idea all the way up to the launch point. We focus really hard on teaching methodology and creating curriculum that gets results. And I also offer one-on-one services, and I just help people make sure that their expertise are showcased in a way that they can be proud of. So I really have two main client groups. One client group would be new course creators who are just starting out and they've never created a course before. So they have an area of expertise or skill set that they want to put into an online course, but this is their first course. And so for them, I often actually suggest that they start with a mini course so they can take my program and use the teachings to do a mini course and then move into a signature course, although some dive right into the signature course. And then my second group of clients are people who already have experience with online courses. They have established online courses, sometimes multiple 6-figure courses. And what they're looking to do is either up-level those courses because they know now that they've kind of reached the extent of their expertise and they want outside help to make it better, or they're looking at creating a new online course and they want to do it in a better way than they did the first one.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, because I know a lot of our listeners too could very well need your help in this area. So let me ask you though, there are other entrepreneurs out there that do the similar thing that you do. How are you different from other business owners who are teaching others how to create their online courses?
Yeah. So thank you for asking the question, because I am very unique in that I think there's other people out there who say they do the same thing that I do, when in fact, it's actually very different. So the first thing is that in order to have a successful online course, you have to have an awesome high quality course that's going to deliver on its promise. And you also have to have awesome marketing to get people into the course. So if you have a course that's not good, you're not going to be successful. But if you have a great course and nobody's signing up for it, you're also not going to be successful. The problem is that those are two different skill sets. Marketing your course is something that you need to learn from a marketer, and how to create a high quality course that delivers on its promise in an efficient and effective way is something that you need to learn from an educator. So I'm the educator who teaches people how to structure and organize the curriculum and how to teach it in a way that's going to deliver on their promise. The other big difference between me and others is that many people are selling online courses as a quick and easy way to make passive income. And I strongly believe, first of all, that there's nothing passive about education. It is a very active thing that involves the course creator. And my clients will tell you it is not an easy process, although it is very, very worth the investment of time and energy to do it the right way. So yeah, I think those are probably the things that are most different from me. I also really like to focus on helping people create courses that light them up, that give just as much to them as they give to their students, because being a teacher, being an educator is really a rewarding profession. And so when you create your course properly, it gives you the ability to have something that you really enjoy, and that gives purpose to your business.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing, because I wanted to ask you that specific question, because we're going to tackle the copy on your About page today. Now, we're not going to go through the whole thing, but we're going to go through a few sections, and knowing what differentiates you from other people is really going to, how would I say it? It's going to help me tell you how you can distinguish yourself on your About page, and how that's going to drive the copy, so that you can really use your About page as what I like to call that secret weapon on your website. Because a lot of people forget about the About page. Yeah, a lot of people forget about that page, and they might just have like a really small blurb. And really, every page on your website should be driving sales. It should be talking directly to your target audience and compelling them to want to work with you. And that includes your About page. So it's really prime real estate for you to be able to set yourself apart from everybody else by sharing your story, showing how you can relate to the people who are going to come to you for help, and then showing them how you're going to be that expert that can help them. So let me ask you really quick, what are the things about your About page, let's say, that you feel could use some improvements or tweaks?
Okay, well, unfortunately for you, my answer is everything. So when I did this, I was really clueless in a way. I just kind of looked at other people's web pages and, did what I thought would represent me in the clearest way. But already by just talking to you for these few minutes, I can see that there's a ton of things I've told you that are nowhere on my About page. So I really didn't have too much of a strategy when I did it. I just wanted to let people know like who I am, what my experience is, what set me apart, so that people could kind of see a differentiation. But I feel like it hasn't been successful in doing that. I don't feel that it represents me well. Well, not well, but it doesn't represent the differentiation as well as it could.
Okay. Well, my first impression I'll tell you about this page is that it could definitely be more customer centric. And I've talked about that in many episodes by now. I think specifically in episode 2, where we talk about the different copywriting principles, the 4 principles. And one of those is always to write copy that is customer centric. So instead of talking about me and using the words me and I, we're going to say more you and your. Now, I know a lot of you listening right now might be thinking, well, that's kind of crazy though, because this is the About page.
That's
right?
what I've struggled with. That's what
it's
I've
about
struggled
me,
with.
Yeah, it's about me. It's about my business. And that is very true. And on this page, you're definitely going to be highlighting yourself more than any other page on your website, but it still needs to be directed towards that person who's going to be landing there and speaking to them. So we'll talk about that a little bit as we go through this. So the first thing I see when I come to your about page is it says, welcome, I'm Shannon Boyer, ... And then it says, I'm talking about online education in a way that no one else is. Why? Because I'm an award-winning educator with a master's degree in education and more than 20 years of experience creating courses and curriculum. That's very me-centric.
Yes.
Right? Not customer centric. So you're saying because I'm this and I'm that, which isn't bad. It's not bad, but you'll see, we'll talk about a little bit more how we'll weave that in. And then you say, I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs like you create high touch, high quality, high impact online courses that get students results. I love that line. And we'll actually be touching on that again in a few minutes where I'm going to talk about that a little later. Okay. So my recommendation to you is always to start every page on your website with a headline. And that would also include your about page. And there's a few different templates that I like to use. The one I chose here is to use the I believe you can headline. So you don't want to just jump into talking about yourself right away. Instead, you want to use that headline to grab their attention. So with an I believe statement, you're instilling confidence in the person who lands on your page and giving them hope. So that's the first thing. Second, you're really tapping into the desire of your target audience right away. So right when they hit their page or your page, they're going to see immediately that you're already talking to the things that they want, to the transformation they want. And the goal is really to get them to believe that they can have that transformation that they're looking for when they work with you. So the new headline I came up for you says, I believe you can create a transformative high-touch course that will give your students results that have a lasting impact. What do you think of that? What's your first impression?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It gets right to the point. And I see how you've even though it starts with it immediately switches to the audience, to the you. So yeah, I think it's really good.
Yeah, you hit on a good point there. So yes, it starts with I, but you're talking directly to them. And when you say, I believe you, that just grabs their attention, right?
Yeah,
you're speaking right to them. I believe you can create a transformative high touch course that will give your students results that have lasting impact. So I would put that at the top of your page, then go into your basic elevator pitch or your value proposition. So here you already have, welcome, I'm Shannon Boyer. You could keep that, or you could say, hi, I'm Shannon Boyer, and then say, I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs like you create high-quality, impactful online courses that give students real results and incredible transformations. So that's pretty similar to what you already have, because you have written, I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs like you create high-touch, high-quality, high-impact online courses that get students results. So it's just kind of tweaked a little bit. Or you could also say, so this is just adding a little bit more copy in there. You could say, hi, I'm Shannon Boyer, and I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs like you create high-quality, impactful online courses that increase your bottom line and give your students real results and incredible transformations.
That's nice. That's good.
So that's speaking to two things here. It's not just speaking to the transformation for their students, but it's also talking to what they want to, right? They want to increase, you could say increase your bottom line or increase your revenue. I played with those different words. They both work. But so it's speaking to what they want. Like obviously they want their students to get results, but they also want to make money with their course too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to address both things, because getting the students results is going to positively impact them in maybe an indirect way, but that's not always clear. I often have to explain that. So I think it's really a good idea to include in this how it's kind of it will help your students, but there'll be direct impacts for you as well.
Right. And I think that second sentence that I gave you that says increase your bottom line, I do feel like it's getting a little bit too long. I could probably rewrite it in a way that makes it a little shorter. Like we said, I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs like you create high quality, impactful courses. Maybe we could just say that in one little phrase to get it a little shorter. But I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Hey, would you like personalized feedback on a focused portion of your website, an opt-in page, landing page, sales page, or an email sequence? And would you like to be featured on this podcast? Here's your chance to be the next live copy audit. Go to the show notes, click on the link to apply, and pick a time to record your live audit with me. You'll just need to fill out a short questionnaire, and then I'll personally review your submission and contact you if you're selected. So don't wait. This could be your opportunity to optimize your copy and share your business with our audience. Okay, so you have your headline, and then you're going to go into like a quick little welcome. And then after that, what you're going to do is you're going to go into your story. Now, we're not going to focus on the story here, but the basic principle of that is you want to tell your own story, and you want to tell it in a way that relates to the person who's going to be landing on that page. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use that story to transition into why you're the expert to help them. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. But remember that every line, like every sentence on your page, should be compelling enough to lead someone to that next sentence.
Right.
So like when I write copy, I go back and like I just write a first draft really quick, or not really quick. Let's just say I brain dump it all on paper for however long it takes me. Sometimes it's a really long time. Yeah. And then I go back and I like cut 50% of it, and I'll just go through it like line by line, like, is this line fluff? Does it really need to be there? Is it leading to that next sentence? Okay. So I bring that up because what I want to touch on here is the first line in your story. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who want to see an example of this, you can go to my website, www.whitehousesm.com/about. I believe that's it. And you'll see that when I start my story in bold, I have like one line, and it says something like, when I was a kid, I never wanted to be a copywriter. Right? So that's kind of like attention grabbing, and it gets someone to look at it and they're like, oh, well,
that's true for me too. When I was a kid, I never wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah. So, I mean, that could be that bold statement right there. When I was a kid, I never wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah. Right.
And then they're going to want to know more about your story. So that's going to lead them to read on. So I wanted to talk briefly about that bold statement that I just want you to start your story with. And I actually have 4 different examples for you so we can see which one kind of hits you in the right place.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Because we want to get people to want to read down the page. All right. So number 1 I have for you, this is the hook, the first sentence. Imagine it's in bolded letters. Okay. It says, most online courses miss a critical ingredient, and you need to know what that is.
Okay.
Or it could be, most online courses miss a critical ingredient, and you may not have it. So it's like a variation on my first one for you. So that phrase just kind of sparks curiosity. It hints at your expertise a little bit, and it makes the readers just want to know, like, what is this critical ingredient, right? So it's going to encourage them to keep reading. Okay, the second one I have is, most online courses aren't designed to actually teach. They're designed to sell.
That one hits the nerve for sure.
Yeah. And this, I have a little, just a little tweak at the end, like a little option. It could say, most online courses aren't designed to actually teach. They're designed only for dollars.
Oh, yeah. I think, like I had a visceral response to the third one. It really hit home. And maybe because so many people come to me and say, I've already taken a course on how to create a course, which is, that's always clumsy for me to put in my copy. Like, if you've taken a course on how to create a course, but anyway, they come to me and they often say, like, I didn't learn how to create the course. I learned how to build my audience. I learned how to, do a webinar. I learned this and that, but I still don't know how to create a course. So yeah, that third one, it's not necessarily that I like it better, but I had a reaction to it. So maybe there's something there.
Yeah, maybe. So that's 1 and 2. So for each of those, I gave you a little like option B.
Okay.
But yes, that second one I gave you about most online courses aren't designed to actually teach. They're designed to sell, or they're designed for dollars. It's shocking, right? And it's relatable to your audience. So you already hit on that. It's kind of relatable to them because they've already gone through a lot of these courses, right? And it really just exposes just a common frustration that many people have right now among course creators and students.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing about that one is it kind of opens up the door for you to share your background as an educator and why you're different, right?
Right.
Okay, here's number 3. No one wants their course to collect dust in an inbox.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. So it's kind of relatable, a little bit of a shocking statement that really taps into that fear among many, entrepreneurs about creating something that gets ignored.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So you can use this to explain in your story how your approach ensures that it's not going to just sit in an inbox, and it's going to be an engaging course that they're going to create that's going to be impactful and designed for them to complete.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 is a little similar to the one I just gave you, but we're going to use a number in there. And this is it. It says 85% of online courses collect dust in an inbox. Or you could rephrase it into a question. Did you know that 85% of online courses collect dust in an inbox?
Yeah.
So
I definitely like 4 better than 3 because I think people like gravitate to numbers. Numbers are like impactful, right?
Yeah, and it kind of hits that logic part of the brain, I think. And a statistic just grabs the attention and immediately highlights the scale of the problem, right, that you're trying to address. Yeah, so what do you think out of all of those 4, which one do you think resonates with you the most?
That's a tough one because I did like the second one, but I also like the fourth one. Okay, so I think like as a first statement, I like the fourth one, but I could still use the second one further along, could I not?
Or, yeah, you could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the attention grabbing aspect of the 85%.
Yeah. And yeah, the other one that says most online courses aren't designed to actually teach, they're designed to sell. That could definitely be like highlighted and bolded later in your story. And then that will just segue you into you sharing why you're different, after you share a relatable story, the story of how you got to where you are now. And you could like rephrase that sentence and like add something that calls out your target audience in it. I have to think on it a bit. I'm not really good at off the cuff.
That's okay. What you do is very difficult. I hate writing, so I have all the respect in the world for the process that you go through to come up with something. I
always tell people I'm not really good with off the cuff coming up with ideas because I have to look at the research. It's just so important to go through all of it. And then after I absorb it, then I can start writing,
Yeah, absolutely. So, absolutely.
But what I teach about how to write about pages, there's usually some statement, down the line in the story that's like a big bolded statement that will transition into that expert, going into the part of your story where you talk about the expert or where you're transitioning into the bullet points. And, you could say most online courses aren't designed to actually teach. They're designed to sell. But when you work with me, this is what you get. ... And then you can go into your bullet points. So let's use that actually right now as a segue to go into your bullet points.
Okay.
So just to review, we've got the headline and we've got the small intro where you kind of give your elevator pitch before you go into your story. And then when you go into your story, you're going to talk about your story and make it relate to the people who are coming to your page. And then you're going to transition into why you are the expert to help them. And then as you're wrapping up your page, you want to end with 3 to 5 bullet points at most, telling them basically this is what we get, or this is what you will get when we partner together. Okay. So after going through all the stuff you gave me, for those of you listening, Shannon filled out a short questionnaire for me for this live audit so I can learn more about her business. And so I just used that to pull out, some bullets that would really just kind of highlight what makes you different and what people will get when they work with you. Okay. So I have here what you get when we partner together. And then I have 4 bullet points written out. And afterwards, you can let me know what you think. So the first one says, you'll learn how to design a course that engages and motivates students to finish and that leaves them raving about you and their experience.
That's true.
Okay. So here you're telling them what they're going to learn, which is how to design a course, and that it's going to engage their students and motivate them to finish, because we know that that's a major pain point, right? For course creators is they create a course and, maybe only 10% of the people get through it.
Yep, it's true. Very
I actually have been in that spot before.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the bullet point, it says that leaves them raving about you in their experience. So obviously you want them to learn, but you also want them to come back and say, man, that was a great experience. That was my best course experience. Isn't that the name of your course, right?
Yeah. My program is called Your Best Course Experience. Yeah.
Your best course experience, yes. And you want them raving about you because you want them raving about you so they can tell other people and you can grow your business. Okay. Yes. Second bullet point. Proven educational frameworks and methods that will enable you to create a curriculum that's structured, logical, and life-changing.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of the things that makes me very different is that the frameworks that I teach are based on pedagogy, which I try to, stay away from using that word, but it's, research-based science of teaching and learning and proven teaching methodologies. So yeah, that's one of the key things that makes me different. It's not just a framework that I created around a catchy acronym. It's actually, the acronym is actually really ugly because it's based on, proven results. So.
All right, good. And then number 3 says, receive expert guidance from an experienced educator who understands how to make your course truly stand out.
Yeah. Yeah. My courses are very involved, and that's what I teach, is being like hands-on with your students. So definitely I am there alongside them, partnering with them and making sure that they get the results that they're looking for. So that's good too.
Okay, cool. And I like just, right in the beginning, it says receive expert guidance. It could be receive expert guidance from an award-winning educator, right. So you can like highlight there your expertise and what makes you stand out. And then the last one says, build a course you're proud to promote and sell, one that aligns with your values and matches the quality of your brand.
Yes, you hit it nail on the head there for sure, because a lot of clients who are coming to me, I've heard various things of like, I don't want to embarrass myself, or I have, this, like, I'm from a profession where I've worked really hard to build up my reputation, and I don't want this to do anything to harm it. Or people who are just like, I'm really afraid of what the response is going to be and what people are going to say. Like you're putting your heart and soul into this course, and then you put it out into the world, and you're like, like me, please. It's kind of, it can be feel like a vulnerable thing to do. So I love that last one. I think it really, hits the nail on the head in terms of what people really want, the confidence that they want and the excitement. I think that's one of the things I notice, especially for experienced course creators, ones who are revitalizing their course, is that they're excited about it again. It kind of got boring for a while, and now they're excited about it again. So yeah, awesome.
Good. Okay. So then the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to just have another bold statement after that, not a bullet, but just a statement. That's a call to action statement that says, all right, something like, if you're ready to work together and create, the best course ever, I wouldn't write that, but just thinking off the top of my head, if you're ready to work together to give birth to the course you've always wanted to, put out into the world. And then you'll have like a button there, say, contact me, let's get started or whatever, right? So it's just a basic call to action, and that's how you can end your about page. Another thing that you can add to your about page, it's kind of optional after all of this, is you can add like a short professional bio, and that one can totally just be all about yourself. It doesn't have to be customer centric, but just that 3 or 4 sentence small bio saying that I, got my education here. I've got my master's degree from here, all those things that kind of boost your credibility. You can even add like a list of podcasts you've been on or articles you've written, places that you've been featured to give yourself that boost too. Sometimes I've had clients where at the end of their about page where they'll have me write something like, it could be like 3 or 4 small blocks of, what makes me different, or, why is it, kind of like the what sets me apart, like what you have here. But if we phrase it a little bit more customer centric, like this is what you get when we work together, that kind of thing. Yeah. So
awesome. This has been really, really helpful. I can see why, someone would pay for this kind of service because, obviously this is just the tip of the iceberg for what you actually do. But there's so much that goes into it, so much more and so much opportunity to really, connect with your clients. And I really appreciate this.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it's just, I think it's one of those just forgotten pages on the website,
Yeah.
And I think it's very easy for us to get in our heads where it makes us very hard to write our own story.
Yes.
So
we're always too close to ourselves, right? Like we don't see what other people see.
Yes. So I think it is really valuable to reach out to a copywriter to write it for you. And you might be thinking, like anyone listening might be thinking, well, how are they going to know my story? Like, how are they going to get in my head? Yeah. There's a whole process. And when someone comes to me for me to write their story, to write their about page, the first thing I have them do is fill out my client questionnaire. And then after I read through that and I highlight it, then we get on a call just like this, like for an hour, and I'll ask even more questions and really dig into their story more while I'm recording it. So I'll record that video and then I transcribe it and then I bring up my highlighters again and I pull out all the unique phrases and find the themes and all of that kind of stuff. There's a whole process. And then I get to writing and then I give it to my clients, and I haven't had anyone disappointed yet, which is great. But they're like, everybody's been like, wow, Gina, like you've done a really great job, almost to the point of tears sometime. And I'm just like so humbled. I'm like, well, just thank you so much for letting me do this for you. It's really fun. It's really fun to get into someone's story and write it for them. And because I know it just can be so hard when you're in your own story. Like, how do you get it out on paper,
Yeah, definitely.
So
that's why I laughed when you said. That's why I laughed when you said you gave me a short questionnaire, because it wasn't long, but I know that your questionnaires are not generally short.
No, they are pretty long. So yeah. But you know what? I'm thankful to everyone who's decided to actually go and answer every question. So
well, it's worth it.
It takes the time,
Yeah.
So. Sure. But anyways, okay, we're going to end now, but I wanted to ask you one final question that I ask all my copy audit people. Okay. Can you give all the female entrepreneurs and small business owners out there one piece of advice that has helped you scale your business while keeping your family and personal life thriving?
Oh, that's such a good question, because I think it's a daily struggle to keep the personal and daily life, thriving and balance the two of them. I think the biggest thing has been to keep the why at the forefront, the purpose for doing it, and keep that. For me, my family is a lot of the why. So they're really combined and tied together. And it keeps me motivated, because being an entrepreneur is about being on a roller coaster. And it doesn't matter what stage of your entrepreneurial journey you're on. There are highs and there are lows. And as you progress, the highs and lows change. But it's really staying grounded in the purpose that you're doing it, and knowing that those highs are, they're on the horizon as well. So it's kind of an esoteric answer. It's not that practical, but I think for me, that has absolutely kept me going. I would have quit so long ago if it hadn't been for the motivation of wanting to do this, to have more flexibility, to be present for my kids.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing. And I know that the roller coaster, it's there, and keeping your why at the front and center, always. And then creating those boundaries too.
Yes, absolutely.
Not trying to do it all at once, but we don't have to do it quickly. Just stay consistent, right?
Yeah.
A little bit at a time.
Key. And sometimes the hardest thing to do.
Yeah. Well, Shannon, thank you so much for coming on here with me today and letting me look at your about page and giving you advice. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of 7-Figure Copy. If you've enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star review on your favorite platform and follow me on Instagram for more insights. Can you think of one female entrepreneur or small business owner right now who could benefit from listening to this podcast? Please share this episode with them. And if you're ready to hand off the copy for your website, emails, and sales pages, head over to www.whitehousesm.com to book a complimentary copy chat with me. Let's partner together to take your business to the next level.